please fill it. That's how we can make it mandatory and non-mandatory. If you want to make it non-mandatory, again, same thing you can do. Configure the dictionary for that specific field. Right click on that field, configure dictionary. You can directly go to that field's dictionary and make it non-mandatory again and do a save. So the question was using form designers. Bring these two fields back, and we can also make these things mandatory, non-mandatory using form designer also. So now coming to form designer, the requirement was to bring those two fields, service and service offering back, and we will create some more fields. Same thing, configure. Now, instead of doing form layout, we will now use form design. Form designer is a very interactive way of creating forms. Very easy, drag and drop thing. You can quickly do that. I Why it is doing this? Okay, so ServiceNow wants you to actually use form builder extensively. So the first thing was form layout. That was the fundamental thing. That's how you learn from where things are actually coming from. Form designer is a little bit new advanced. I will not say this is latest, but this is also very old. You can drag and drop things from one place to another, and you can rearrange the form like this. You can play around these things and click on save. It will directly save it. So the requirement was, let me do undo. The requirement was to bring service and service offering back and to get rid of these newly created fields. So first of all, getting rid of this due date, directly simply click on this X icon, remove this, it is removed. I don't want this due date also, removed. I don't want this due date also, removed. Now to bring some things, so let's just, we have removed 3 due dates and save the form, and we can instantly see after refreshing what are the changes that we have seen. So all of the due dates are removed from the incident section also, and from the related records in the sections also. Right now, create some fields or bring some existing fields. Why I have shown you form layout? Because these are the existing fields that are already created, and we can use them. We can drag and drop them. So let's try to find service. Type service over here and bring service back below configuration item, and service offering also. These two things we have, bring them back. Click on save. Form is saved using form designer. Very easy method of doing it. And go back to the incident form and try to save it. So we bring them below configuration item. Service and service offering are back, and that is much easier way of doing it.
So
I will
using form
recommend it also.
designer, we cannot create our own fields, right?
We can definitely do that, and let me show you how to do that. So the next task is to
So
remove this
like,
active field.
which is the feasible way, Gaurav? Like at the time of creating the fields, like if you are having like multiple options, right? Like
Mhm.
uh, what we need, like which is like
I would say try to go with the latest thing
oh, okay. Mm.
or the most advanced thing, the things that saves you time and much easier for you. You can go with that, but at the same time you should be having a core understanding of from where the form design is actually working, how things are coming, from where things are coming from.
Okay.
So so that you have the logic. Okay, if something goes wrong in the newly defined environment, let's say I'm using form designer or form builder or anything, I know where it is making actual change in. So it is making actual change inside the table.
Mm.
So table configure, I'm showing you again, configure the table. All of these fields are actually present in this table. This table have these columns. If you try to find these columns, these are, if you try to find service, you will see service and service offerings are present. These fields are not deleted, they are present. But the other thing is they are not rearranged or not shown you somewhere. On some form sections they're not present, but they are actually part of this table, and you can work on this. So this table actually have 97 fields, but are you able to see 97 fields? No, you don't. because some of them are hidden, some of them are used in a different view, and and something like this. So coming to this, we have given them service and service offering. Similar way, if those fields are not present here, I want to also get rid of one active field which is not required. So simply remove this and active will be removed. So if any field is not here and you want to create a new field, let's say you just like how you created the summary field, you can click on field types and select your specific field type. Let's say I want uh, okay, the reference field. Let's say I want to create okay, let me just create a new string field also, and I will come back with a reference field also. So you just click the field type string, drag and drop over here and go back on the form. This new string field is created, and when you click on this gear icon, you can actually configure this. You can give it the name. Let's say uh, my summary 2. Oops, I might have switched off my laptop. Okay, clicking outside. If it changes, okay. If it doesn't, let it be. Try to give it your specific name, which should be you underscore my or let's just try to copy this and paste it over here and click outside. Yeah, it will take the name itself. So keep it a good practice of putting an underscore u if it is not doing automatically, because it will show other users also that it is not out of the box and you have created or some other developer has created. So we have created a my summary field which is of type string. We have bring string from field type over here. Maximum length we can define anything. Let's say 500 I can define. Making it mandatory or read only you can define from here, right? And you can click outside when you're done. And this field is my summary 2 and click on save. That's how you create a field on form. Let me go back to the form and see my summary 2 is present here. This is mandatory and this can take 500 keywords. Yeah, it deleted some. Okay, so that's how you create fields from Form Designer, which is very good thing. And the second thing I want to come up to, so okay, we're done with strings and dates and everything. I want to bring your focus on this reference field, the field with the magnifying glass icon. What is this field actually? So from the name itself, you can understand this is a reference. It is taking values from some other table, or it is referencing the values from some other table. This type of field, if you right click on this and show this particular field, the field is on table incident. The field name is caller underscore ID. The type is reference and it is referencing a different table, which is this user table. So we have called this field as caller. The name is caller and it is taking the data from user table, which is this user table. So if you click on this magnifying glass, see it is opening this user table and showing you all of the records inside this user table, which is 639 records. So this field is taking a reference from a different table. The field is on incident table, but it is taking the reference from this user table. That means any data you want to select from a different table, you can select it. Let's say I want to select a user 5, so you can select any data from that thing. Gives you an I button also, so you can preview this record and you can directly see the referenced record that has been selected in that field. You can, you know, peek a little bit out of it. You can see some values, user ID, email, and the things. What is it actually? So this is taking a reference from a different table. And let me show you. uh, Similarly, what all
Hi, Gaurav.
other
Uh,
reference fields do we have on this form? Yes.
Gaurav.
Anyone have
Yes,
any
Gaurav, I
question?
have one doubt. We are doing all these things in inside this one form, right? Example, in this form, we are doing all the changes. Suppose I want these changes should reflect all the incident forms. How to do that?
Yeah,
is
it
a
is actually
standard.
reflecting, it is reflecting all the incident forms. So all the incident form by mean any incident record that you create. Let me create a new one. So I went there, I typed
Yeah, like
incident,
this.
I created this one,
Hmm.
and see all of these are, I am actually able to submit anything. All of the changes that I'm making will be
Oh,
effective instantly.
okay. If it's effective for all the incident forms we are
Yeah,
working
every
with you.
incident that is going to be created. So we are making these form
Okay.
changes on this particular incident form.
Okay. It should affect all the incidents. So,
Correct, correct. All
okay.
previously created incidents also, and all newly created incidents also. So
Hmm.
these fields, even if you go and find some previously created incident, let's say all of the incident that came out of the box, we didn't created them. So some of them were, let's say, let's go to some middle ones. Incident 000 or 51003. We didn't created this incident, but you see these newly created fields are coming here also. So it will affect the previous data and it will affect the new coming data also.
So now if you want to update this field means definitely we have to enter my summary too, right? Because it is a mandatory field.
Exactly. If you now try to, do some update on this form, it don't fill this mandatory field, it will definitely give you an alert saying this field is mandatory. So you'll have to actually submit something. Yeah, mandatory field works like this way only. It is mandatory before submitting. So we were
It is
actually
for,
on
and the like the change will effective for the like previous records also. Like, yeah,
exactly
want to
the
update.
the old records also and the new records also. But it so old records are there. So it will give you a pop-up only when you come up to these old records and try
Yeah,
to save
got
them.
it. Yeah, because if you want to update that particular record, then only it.
Exactly. So it's the form is now open. This field is now mandatory. If you directly go back, it will not give you any alert. But if you try to change something or update something, it will definitely give you an alert. Let's say I try to update this form with this new summary value. The form will say my summary 2 is mandatory. Please fill it. Because before doing any update, you have to satisfy the form with all the mandatory or all the required things. So the question I have is, this is a new form, new incident form. We were talking about this reference field, the field caller, which is taking a reference from sys user table or user table. I tend to call it sys user table because yeah, it's easier. Uh, okay, what all other fields that are reference fields that we have on this form? What are these fields? Apart from caller field, can you give me some names of these reference fields that are present in front of you?
Yeah, if anybody wants to answer first, you can go ahead.
Like this caller is a
Configuration,
reference field.
configuration item
Exactly. Configuration
for
item,
daily
if you
service of
click on the magnifying glass, it is taking a reference from CMDB CI table, right?
So all the field,
Assignment,
yeah, all the fields which are having magnifying glass are the reference one.
correct. That is absolutely correct. So every field that is having this magnifying glass, you can confirm it by using this show field, and the field type will be reference, or the short form is, yeah, any field that have a magnifying glass in front of it, it is a reference field. That is a very good identifier. So yeah, assignment group is taking reference from sys user group table. Caller was taking from sys user table. This is taking reference from sys user group table. So the data it is getting from, it is sys user table. Assigned to is taking the value from sys user table. You see, these two fields, I will show you why and what is happening. Caller is taking reference from sys user table, but it is showing you 639 records. Same thing, assigned to is also taking reference from sys user table, but it is only showing you 63 records. Why? Because there are some conditions or some reference qualifiers that are running onto this, which is actually limiting the amount of data that you can fill in this particular field. So you can fill any records in caller, any data out of these 639, you can fill anyone into this caller field, but it is not mandatory that you can fill Anthony over here. Let's say I filled this guy and I try to search for Anthony. Probably, yeah, by like Anthony is present here, but probably sometimes it is not in the same case. Uh, Let me try to find something. Bushra. Able tutor is the guy. Yeah, able tutor is not present here, but able tutor is present here. Why? It is taking the reference from the same table actually, but it is showing you some limited full data over here and some limited data over here. Why? Because it is running some of the references qualifiers. So the reference qualifiers you can see over here. So anything you want to see in short is coming from task table, inherited from task table, field name is assigned to, type is a reference, taking data from the references user table, and this is the reference qualifier that is running on, that is allowing you to actually limit the data. I will show you what it is. That is a more advanced way of mm, limiting the data in some particular field, even though it is taking the data from the same table. So let me try to fill something. Let's say I filled ln over here, and yeah, this assigned to field which is currently having 63 records is actually dependent on this assignment group field. If I try to fill hardware over here and then see this magnifying glass, so it now have only 7, previously had 63. So it is actually taking a reference from the sysuser table only, which is saying that, okay, uh, these show me all of the members that are part of assignment group, right? And if I try to give it my help desk group, which we recently created, how many members we had? 10. Probably one is removed. Yeah, we have all 10. So these are the users. It is limiting you to only see those particular users. Why? Because it is dependent on this assignment group field. So that's how the dependent value comes from. So taking some other assignment group, let's say software. How many members this group has? Software has these 5 members. Same thing, our my help desk had actually 10 members. So that is also one good thing happened. We created one group and added users. You can select and assign to this particular guy and submit the form and satisfy the form mandatory conditions and submit it. Reference field, how to create these reference fields and how to work on. So let me, okay, let's just see one by one what are the field types actually. Right click on number, show this, and you can see this is a string type. Right click on channel, show this, what type of field is. This is actually a string type, but if you try to configure the dictionary, it is a different field. So it's a good idea to not only right click on a field and see it for the name only, or for the actual name, actual field value, field name. But to actually look the type of it, you can do right click and configure dictionary for this. This is a different, other than string type, this is a different field. So type is field, but it is behaving differently. Why? Because it have choices. So it is a single select choice field. So if you go back on the form, you can select one option from here, chat or email. This is a string type field, but working differently because we have given it the choices. Same thing for this guy, state. This is also a string. Why type integer? Okay, let me show you what is state actually. Uh, Configure dictionary for the state field. Don't save this form. Configure dictionary for the state field. The type is integer, but it is taking these values. Why it is integer? Because it is taking the values in numbers. The choices are given in number actually. So if anyone or the coder is trying to work on this, so yeah, you can see that the value is in progress or the value is closed, but the system will actually see the value as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and something like this. Why? Because state field, which is a type of integer having all these choices, the label is not at all necessary for us. You can give any name, any random thing to the label, but the value is the one which we are really focused on. Same, so it will take the value. Okay, give me all of the choices that have the value as 1. So one have only new is given as 1. So how you can actually search it? *1. So these are the ones actually. Anything that contains 1 inside it, that's how you apply the filters also. 1 is new, one is open also, one is waiting also, one is something something something. But we're only able to see how many fields, how many options actually, these options only. Why this is limiting? Because this is actually limiting on this particular table. I will show you how. Same thing for impact. Impact is also an integer, which is taking the values in form of number, priority 1, 2, and 3. Urgency is also taking the values in form of number, and priority is actually calculating the value according to these value change. How the assignment group was actually calculating the value, because it assigned to is dependent on this assignment group value. So let's just quickly create some fields in Form Designer.
So like if you want to create a drop down field also, like it will ask for the values, right? Like what are should the values be?
Correct, correct. So let's just try to create one drop down field which says, okay, I want to create a field name which is pantry in the office, which will allow you to select options as tea, coffee, water, and these things. So let me just try to create. Obviously, this should not be over here. Pantry is not already present. So I will create my field pantry. So, and it should be a choice. Bring it on the form anywhere you want to position it, and new choice is created. Click on the magnifying glass icon. Type is actually